Hi, yes, welcome to Ramble Review, a series where I ramble and review. Yeah, I started the series years ago. I didn't even do a second episode on it, and I hate it so much. Don't look at it, please. No, there might be visuals to go along with this thing. If not, I do apologize. I am a lazy fuck. I don't know if there'll be gameplay either, because, again, I am a lazy fuck, and I also don't know how to get Xbox captures onto a PC, because I'm dumb. But yes, this episode's gonna be about a video game that I fucking love. It's called Void Bastards. Go play it immediately. I don't care what you're doing. Just go play Void Bastards. Go play Void Bastards. It is about you being a client. You are a thing. You are controlling this thing called a client, who is someone who is doing a thing. You did a bad previously, and you got dehydrated by Bax. So you're just going to get rehydrated to hopefully do a good instead of what you did as a bad. Because of that, every client has their own unique and lovely flavour. Like, for example, you can have one who is very small, or you can have one who is very large. You can have someone who is very silent while running, because running creates noise. Or you can have someone who fucking screams every time they pick up an item. That guy, I hated him so much. Oh my god. But yes, this is a cool thing about, video game stuff. It's fun to play. It's got tight controls. I normally play on normal or easy. I know, basic, but I'm not that good at games, especially not shooters. But this is one of the very few games that I can quite happily get along with on normal and not immediately die. I actually managed to hold on to one client for a whole mission, which, bear in mind the fact that, because of the fact that I'm a baby and I don't like going into hard places, that's a lot, especially because of the fact that, even the easy places are still difficult, There will always be enemies in spots, but, I'm getting ahead of myself. Clients, they're all unique, they're all interesting. I don't know how many there are, but there are a fuck ton. They're all, very useful or not useful in their own ways. My favourite clients that I've had so far are Dora Simpson, who is very tall and who was also a bargain hunter. Whatever the name of the cannibal was, the one with the face mask, and yeah, those two are my favourites so far. But, other than that, there are other parts to Void Bastards besides just wandering around as a client. For example, the ships you explore. To explain, you are commandeering a small mini-ship that goes towards the Void Ark called the Steve. And the Steve is what you use to carry out your missions and stuff. But by carrying out your missions, I basically just mean going to abandoned ships within this big old place called the Nebula, which is all cool and weird and edgy, and everyone inside the Nebula who used to be human has turned into some kind of horrifying abomination by the name of anything. But yeah, that's fun. So you, as the client, have to go and kill these fuckers, and that is what you are going to probably maybe do. Yeah. That is basically the entire plot of this video game. However, it is way more fun than it sounds. It is basically played off as one giant fetch quest, but at the same time, that's the entire point of the game, and they have managed to make it fun somehow to do a fetch quest. It's amazing how they do it. As a client, you have to board ships which have all kinds of colourful enemies on top of them, you've got the very stupid janitors, you've got the very spooky spooks, you've got patients who are annoying, you've got screws who you should never interact with ever, and you've got the somehow incredibly quotable Juves. I don't know, man. They're just very, very quotable. Yeah. I mean, honestly, go listen to a soundbite from one of the Juves. You will get what I mean. So what you do is, because of the fact that these things are horrifying monsters, you gotta shoot them in all kinds of different ways. You've got a couple of main weapons, which include things like the regulator, which is just a regular old gun. You've got the stapler, which is basically like a shotgun that fires staples. You have got the riveter, which fires out rivets. So it's basically like a machine gun. And then you have the nebulator, which is basically just a grenade launcher. It's very fun, honestly. And each different ship will require you to bring on different, types of weapons, and would have you strategize about each one, because every ship, I believe, is procedurally generated. And by that, I basically just mean, there are a couple of presets to choose from, but every ship will have some kind of unique trait. Oh, right, the traits. Yes, so alongside your client having unique traits, ships have unique traits as well. Whenever you're flying around in the Void Ark, not in the Void Ark, what am I talking about? In the Steve, you will find different ships on your way around the place. including the things like the Krell Freighter, the Krell Mart, the Zon Ambulance, what else? CNT pet license boat. But yes, you can also go to things like the WCG Therapy Brig, which, by the way, the company you're working for is WCG. I just remembered that. With the WCG Therapy Brig, you can get new traits with things like the Pack Buzz frigate. You can get torpedoes, I believe. Or either that or that's in the mine layer, but either way, they're pretty useful if you need vaults. Slag is pretty useful as well. I mean, like, every material is useful. Oh yeah, there's materials, I forgot to say. Right, so there's these things called materials which you use to get parts. You can either craft the parts from the materials, or you can just get the parts from a ship, because every so often a ship will have a part on it. Things like the Buzz Box, the XTC Stim, and other things are not that useful in the later game, so if you find them, because you're like me and you stick with Nebula Depth 1 and craft everything that you need for action items, then, you can just scrap them easily and you can get materials. Parts themselves are used to make various upgrades to your weapons, make weapons themselves, and they are also used for your action items, which are basically just the things that you are getting in your massive fetch quest across the galaxy. And basically what they are basically just things you need to advance the plot. For example, the biggest thing at the moment is that you need to make an HR computer to be able to get an ID card, so you can have a valid ID and restart the Void Arc. So in order to do that, you have to, first of all, get a line printer and an ID card, and that's very early in the game, so line printers and ID cards are typically, I believe, found in Depth 2, and they're very difficult to come across, so you're probably better off crafting them if you're like me, and you don't like shooting things. However, later on in the game, you will need some even more ridiculous items to be able to create water cooling systems, the HR computer itself, because it fucking explodes, all that good stuff. So, yeah, it's just basically one giant fetch quest across this, monster-infested nebula. It's very fun to play, it's got a lot of dry, witty humour. The personal assistant that you've got, he's called Bax, B-A-C-S. He's a pisshead, and I love him. And yeah, basically just, go play this game. I probably have not made it sound any at all interesting, but it's fucking interesting. Go play it right now. Go play Void Bastards right now. It's probably available on Steam, but I know it's available on Xbox. Go play Void Bastards now!